Speggy, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, nothing, man. I just can't decide if I should wear the hat or not. People think I'm bald, so I don't want to disappoint them.
Well, I think that the cat's out of the bag. They now know that you are not bald, but if you want to give the persona that you are bald,
Is there a cat up there, dude? There's a cat?
I don't see any cats.
Okay.
And no bats in the cave. You are a well-groomed individual. You're good to go.
I use one of those one of those things.
Do
You know?
you?
Yeah,
I
yeah, you
use
got
a
it.
I use a weed whacker.
I haven't got to the ears yet, but I imagine another 5 or so years and we'll be in the ears.
Luckily, I haven't had that either yet. I don't think you and I are of that age just yet. But But I'm noticing the gold chain there. Is that a new thing, or do you typically always wear the gold chain?
I've had it for a while now.
Have you?
Yeah,
I don't
you
know. I
know.
can't. I can't get behind. I can't. I don't know. I don't wear necklaces. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, Mr. T
Things grow
sported
on you.
them. Things grow on you. But
Yeah.
so you and I, we've been talking a bunch, and we had a couple ideas. It's been about a month or so since we've, you know, kind of joined forces and did a video. So it's about time that you got your act together. So thanks for being on here, buddy. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I'm thinking this is going to be a two-parter. You and I still have yet to decide which is going to be on yours, which is going to be on mine. But what I do know is that you and I both have a couple of topics that we want to talk about. One of which happens to be YouTube channel, both yours, mine, and YouTube in general, the struggles with the precious metals niche and YouTube, what's involved with all of that stuff behind the scenes. And I guess what really, I guess, kicked it off. And it's funny because you seem to get the similar type of comments that I receive and other content creators who have been doing this for a while. And it's something along the lines of, man, I wish that I got some freebies sent my way from those bullion companies, or what was like the other one that was on your channel recently? You had a couple of them.
I can't remember because it's something that does come up a lot, but it's like, yeah, man, wow, I wish I had a YouTube channel so that I could get this or I could talk about that. It's funny that they complain about the channel that they're watching because they're
Yeah.
supposedly enjoying the channel. They're subscribed. I've seen some of these comments and some of these people many times. They're a part of the channel and they're complaining about the entertainment they're watching. And it's like, is that entertainment supposed to be always free? I mean, am I supposed to always, out of this, the goodness of my heart, get away from my family and the other things I have going on and do things always for free? It's
Right.
nice to get a little bit of a payday out of some things once in a while. Have you seen the price of milk,
Yeah.
and eggs?
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's part of the issue with, right, with us putting ourselves out there on YouTube. You do get those types of comments. Yes, we do get plenty of support from the viewers who appreciate the content, but then you do sometimes get those comments where, people, I don't know if it's either a jealousy thing or if it is straight up just trying to be a troll. But to your point, you've been doing this now for, like, consistently for, what would you say, 7 years?
Yeah, at least, right? Yeah, it's been a while. I lost track, but for a
You've
while
had
now.
you've had a channel for 13, 14 years, I believe, but you've
Since
been
2000,
like, say it again.
since 2008, I've had the channel.
Okay. And then you've been consistently doing the content related to stacking, more or less 7 years, I believe.
Sure.
Yeah, you were one of the first channels that I started watching. Actually, it was you, Salivate Metal. I want to say Yankee Stacking was another one. When I first started watching YouTube. But to your point, you are now at how many subscribers? Would you say 70,000, 72,000, something along those lines?
A half a dozen or so, whatever. Yep.
Yeah, you. It didn't happen overnight. The
No.
what we're trying to convey to people that watch the precious metals channels, and not just ours, the successful ones, is that you have to be consistent, you have to be current, and you said you take a lot of time away from family, friends, There's been plenty of things that I have given up so that I could record videos or go to the coin shop or whatever the case may be. But it takes an awful lot of dedication and work to get, to your level and to like a channel like a Silver Dragons, Silver Seeker, Yankee Stacking, Two is One. These channels that are all now kind of grown on YouTube and have kind of blown up in the most recent like 2-3 years. It's been a hell of a lot of work on your part.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And me, Silver Dragons, Yankee, Two is One. We're little tiny people when it comes to some of the big YouTubers, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we still work very hard. I mean, I'm doing at least 2 to 3 videos every single week, and people think like, oh, that's probably so easy. But the time it takes to focus on the community, answer comments, questions, have an email, answer questions there, record the videos. I mean, sometimes, especially when you're like recording videos, and you can probably, attest to this, that it feels like you've ran a marathon, like a short, like, a few videos you've recorded, like you're sitting there and you lean back afterwards, you're like, wow, like I'm out of breath. Like that's a lot of talking to myself, like it's a lot of work, and people don't see all the things that go on. In fact, I just had a comment today from a guy who is generally a troll on my channel, and he purchased something from my website, and in the comment there he said, "Hey Speg," he's like, "I have my own channel now," and he says, "I'm sorry for being a troll." He's like, "I see the kind of things that you have to deal with now," and so I was like, "Okay, well, I'm glad that that person sees that it's
Mm.
not just all just glitz and glam all the time. It's a pain. It really is. But it's a labor of love, isn't it? I mean, we enjoy doing it. We benefit from it sometimes a little bit. You know, a lot of people think that, oh, I'm using all of YouTube money to get all this stuff, to have like these things. I use some YouTube money for sure when it comes in, but generally that stuff right there is my investment money that I have from my real job, because YouTube is not my real job. It's a secondary thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, to your point that you do sometimes see some benefits, right? We do sometimes have those sponsored videos. And, whenever I get the comments from people that, are negative in nature about those types of videos, I always say to them, there really is no difference in the YouTube content creators who get those sponsorships and are able to reap the rewards for the time that they put in. Nothing is stopping any of the viewers of your channel, my channel, the other precious metal channels. There's nothing stopping them from creating their own channel. And anytime I see a viewer say, I'm thinking about starting my own channel, I always tell them, start now. Just start making the videos. You will be so happy that you did. It adds a completely different dimension to the stacking hobby and way of life, right? You kind of do get entrenched into a community. But I'm all for it. I've been very transparent with the money that I have gotten from the sponsorship videos, and people know I have my auctions, and the profits from that I kind of just roll back into the channel and get more inventory, and it just kind of builds and builds. But it's like you said, it's not an easy thing. You got to keep doing it and got to be consistent, and you can eventually, as long as you're consistent with it, you can get to these different levels that some people see us, and they kind of essentially would like to, hey, gee, maybe one day I would like to be at that level. I would like to be a Silver Dragons. um I just think that it's just a very rewarding hobby, and I would say 99.9% of the people within the stacking niche are very good people, down to earth, very supportive. But you do always have those small little pockets of trolls that do pop up every now and then.
Well, and back to the job, this is a secondary job. Stormtrooper also has a real job that's not YouTube, just like me. That's mostly our focus, right? That main job is our focus. I love collecting coins. I actually enjoy stacking precious metals. I believe in it, and that's why I started the channel, is to kind of show off how much I enjoy it and kind of spread what I'm loving. But I'm not going to stop doing my real job in order to do this. I mean, and to go on to your point of how you do your auctions, people that see that right there, they see your auctions and like, wow, Stormtrooper's making some money. First of all, you got to buy the bullion, which is very expensive. And then you flip it for a little bit of a profit sometimes. Sometimes you even take a loss on those auctions. I
Mm-hmm.
know I have. But packing orders, making sure everything is correct, shipping all that stuff out, it probably takes you most of a day to pack up your orders when you do your auction. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work, and the longer I am on the live stream and selling, the more sales. But then that means the more packages. That is the worst part of that whole operation, hands down. I hate it so much. I'll come in here. I'll try to make the best of it. I'll put some program or some show on one of my monitors to kind of have background noise and to kind of keep me company and watch it. But the whole time I'm sitting here, I'm trying to figure out who's paid me, who hasn't, who paid me the wrong amount, who didn't send me their address, printing the labels, packing everything just right, taping everything, getting them the tracking numbers. It's a lot of work. And yeah, believe it or not, the things have changed. When the auctions started, it was a very different model. It was a different time, even though it was like 3.5, 4 years ago when I started started doing the auctions. You had a lot of people doing insane bids on coins that definitely were not worth what they were paying, but it was a form of entertainment for them. They get this adrenaline rush. Some of them, it's ego. They like the people to know that they've got a lot of money. And I was one of the benefactors of it. If they wanted to go toe to toe and see who has a bigger wallet, and I was the benefactor, hey, I'm more than happy to host. But over the last couple of years, there have been a huge influx amount of people that have gotten into the auctions, and because of that, and because the prices of precious metals have also climbed and have been holding steadily, the game has changed, and now people do get some solid deals. To your point about selling metals for a loss, a couple weeks back, I had some 1/10 ounce gold coins. I had like 20 or 30 of them. Sold them at spot. I sold them at a loss. I wanted to move them, get some cash in so I could buy other stuff for upcoming auctions. And it is what it is, but it's a lot of fun. And anybody watching this video right now, and you're trying to think about like, hey, should I get into the precious metals hobby, and also should I start a YouTube channel? I think absolutely you certainly should. And just know that if you want to succeed, you have to be very consistent, and you have to have a thick skin, because you're going to get a lot of troll type of comments.
The bigger you grow, the more trolling will happen. I would say that if you're going to start a YouTube channel, though, like start it for the right reason. Show off, right? You're not showing off like, haha, I'm better than you. You're showing
Right.
off your improve the hobby to build it, and that's kind of like what I want to focus on. Do it that way, right? If you become successful, if you end up getting some money because of it, hey, that's a little icing on the cake right there. It's just a little bit better, but do it because you love the hobby and you're trying to promote it. I was trying to get it, but it's stuck down there. It's one of those poster boards full of people's stickers that they were
Mm-hmm.
sending me some years back. And I look at it once in a while because I want to see who's no longer a channel. Because a lot of these people that were on this sticker board when I first started really getting into things and we were sharing stickers and everything, they've disappeared.
Mm.
What happened? People get this, oh, I'm going to be YouTube rich. This is going to be great. And then they actually get to the level where you can get monetized. They get that 1,000 subscriber mark, right? You see everybody, I'm pushing for 1,000 subscribers. I'm pushing. And the reason why they're pushing is that's part of the requirements to be monetized, that 1,000 subscribers. So they're pushing for that. And then when they finally get there and they see, oh, I'm going to be monetized. And then they get monetized and they see that they're not getting a check, because YouTube has this thing where you can't get a check unless you get at least $100 worth of ad revenue first. $100 doesn't seem like much, but when you're only have 1,000 subscribers, you're only getting a few dozen or so views here and there. It's going to take you months before you get your first $100, and you're going to be dishing out thousands of dollars worth of your money just to get some stuff to talk about, unless you already had the stuff. But it's going to take a lot of time and effort before you get your first $100 check. And then thereafter, it's going to take more months before you get your first $100 check from YouTube. Do you remember your first one?
I remember getting monetized. I don't. I think when I got monetized, I was really excited because to me it was like a milestone, and it felt like it solidified the validity of the channel. Right? It's like okay, it's a good enough channel to be monetized. You have enough support. You're the real deal now. Type of mentality. And then I remember when I did get my first payment, I remembered, I don't remember how much it was, but I remember like, oh, okay. I mean, all right, that's cool, I guess. But stick with it. It eventually snowballs. But that's a really excellent point, like that you bring up, is looking at the sticker board to see how many of them are even left, and that's my point, is stay consistent and you got to stick with it. And
Half of that sticker board still exists. But the positive part, like for me, and I'll speak for myself, and then hopefully you have a story for us too. I remember starting out and talking to my friends at my real job, and I was telling them, hey, like I do have a little channel. It's got like 3,000 subscribers, and they would just like roll their eyes and be like, dude, that is nothing. Like you're just wasting your time. You might as well go ahead and give that up. And I was like, why? Everybody starts somewhere. Like, yeah, I'm not going to become successful overnight. Silver and gold and coins aren't typically like the big draw on like a YouTube platform. Whereas like if I'm going to a beach and I'm filming girls in bikinis, that's going to be, big news. That's not my interest. That's
right.
kind of weird for that, right? I'm more of a family man, and I like my hobby, my coins and my precious metals. But I stuck with it and I kept going. And there was a lot of negativity all the way. There was, family members. What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? I remember going to a coin show, and my own brother was there. And I was like, hey, that's cool. I didn't know you liked coins like this. And he's like, oh, yeah. And he's like showing me like a silver coin. He's like, this is a pure silver coin. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know all about those. And I tried to give him one of my stickers and buttons. And I said, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about this stuff. I said, take one of my, and he refused to take it. He's like, no. He's like, I don't care about that stuff. It's just YouTube. It's not a big deal. There was so much negativity along the way of people just saying it's a waste of your time. I don't know why you're messing. And even now, like, a few dozen subscribers into this thing, like, I still get negativity all the time. My comments, people are like, wow, I wish you didn't have a channel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you don't
Just
like
don't
my channel.
watch.
Watch it. I don't know.
I remember very, very vividly the guy who I'm friends with at work. He's like, oh, you have a YouTube channel? He heard I had a YouTube channel. He came into one of my classes, and one of the students said, oh, he has a YouTube channel. He's like, how many subscribers do you have? I was like, this is when I first started. I was like 440. And he's like, that's not good. He said that. And that those types of comments though are what motivates me. The people, there was a channel that was on YouTube. You and I have talked about this. I won't say the channel's name, but there was a channel that was on here when I first started out, and I asked, and I was a supporter of that channel. I asked them, hey, I just made my first video. Do you mind checking it out? And they're like, no, don't self-promote your channel and stuff in here. And blah, blah. I was like, that's not at all what I was doing. I was just asking you, hey, do you mind just checking out my video? Let me know your thoughts. That's all it was. And for me, that was motivation to, it was part of my motivation to start the channel because I felt like the guy didn't really know what he was talking about. But I wanted to surpass this individual in subscribers and everything. And I have. And views and everything. And that was one of the things too that motivated me. My parents, not so much my father, but my mother couldn't understand what I was doing. She thought it was ridiculous. And then when I started to get the sponsorships and I was getting those paid interviews with the mining companies, then she was proud. She was like, oh, wow, this is, it's different. And friends and colleagues and everything who know I have the channel, and they've seen it grow over the last couple of years and what I built it to, right? They see the truck that I drive. They're like, okay, I guess it's legit. You know what I mean? And that it's those types of statements like that would always fuel me to keep going. And then just one final story. It happened today. This happened, and I know this happens with you. I went into the coin shop today, was just doing my thing. There was a customer sitting there at the counter, and as I was walking past him, I said hi. As I was walking past him to go behind the counter and do my business with Steve, I hear the customer say, "The man, the myth, the legend." And then I turn, and he's like, "Me?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I watch your channel. I've been watching your channel since before you took the helmet off and before you revealed your face, like way back." And he's like, "I remember making a comment in one of your videos, and you answered my comment on a video." And he's like, "From then on, I was just appreciative of you." And you know, for me, that was those types of experiences are like the most rewarding. Like, I love when I meet somebody who watches the channel. I got the other day in the mail, somebody from Instagram, they said that I was the first stacking channel that they watched, and they are now a full-time precious metals dealer, like legitimately, you know? And so I was like, wow, you know, I'm not just getting somebody into the hobby, like somebody's actually making a living doing it. And they sent me I just posted on Instagram. So it's those types of things. You had a thing at the coin show where the guy from England was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And like that whole, like, it's like a cool, you know, it's like cool that you're able to help enrich people's lives, you know, from your experiences. So
Yeah. And that's one of the interesting things. And I know we're kind of going some positive and negatives. We're kind of doing a little yin and yang
yeah,
here.
it's a conversation.
There's a lot of positives that have happened to me too. And like you're talking about where people recognize your voice. I didn't know I had such a recognizable voice. I feel like I'm just an average person, like a level 5 straight down the line. Doesn't seem like I'm anybody different, but people will recognize your voice, or, well, you know, yeah, as you know, you've seen, they recognize yours, they recognize mine. Coin shows, coin shops. So far, not at the grocery store, thank goodness. But yeah, no, it's weird. And sometimes those negatives that we're talking about, like the negative comments, the trolls and everything, those are what sticks out the most
Mm-hmm.
in your mind. But there is a silent majority of people that most likely will love you and appreciate what you're doing because they are also hobbyists. And those people tend to not comment very much, or at least you don't notice them as much as those loud trolls. But as long as you can realize that these trolls right here are just a part of the process, and you focus on those people that actually do appreciate you, that's when you're going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to keep pushing. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to have fun with this. And that's what I would recommend. Just have fun with it more than anything. Don't think I'm going to go in there and be a PewDiePie, which is, you know, if nobody knows, it's a big time YouTuber. He's, you know, was the biggest YouTuber for a long time. But you're probably not going to be that guy. You know, that's a needle in a haystack. But have a lot of fun doing it, and people will probably appreciate you having fun, and they might be like, you know what, I'm gonna subscribe to this person because they're having
Yeah.
fun and I know what they're doing, and they got a cool necklace and they got a, you know, big old Barrett 50 cal rifle on their
Yeah. No.
bulletproof for no reason.
Hey.
Aviators, and I like that person.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody has a voice. You will surprise yourself. Whoever's still with us right now, 24 minutes in, you will surprise yourself how many people would subscribe to your channel and listen to you and find common ground with you and appreciate the things that you appreciate. That's part of, again, this stacking niche here on YouTube, the stacking community. We all have that common interest of precious metals, right? And so, yeah, I think, you know, if you're thinking about creating a channel, start it. Precious metals, it's a very, very good community in my opinion. But just like Speg said, you know, be ready to take some of the bad with the good. And that's all I've got for now, buddy. How about yourself?
No, that's all I got. I'm not really sure what we talked about, but it was great to talk to you, Stormy. It was a pleasure, of course. And like you said, anybody who happens to be, you know, watching this, they probably fell asleep. and like it's still going,
Yeah.
and they're just like, hey, I guess I listened to it. I mean, I was still here, you know.
Yeah. They just woke up. This is still going on? Oh. Well, I'll talk to you real soon, buddy. As always a pleasure, bud. Talk to you later.
You know, when I was a kid, we did this every day in school, and I believe we need to bring this back a little bit, and I'm going to start right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.